我们开始了啊。那今天开始的时候呢，大家都有了这个法本了啊。Everybody have this one, right?
Yeah.
We use this one. 那这一次我们2天的金刚萨埵闭关了，那用这个全信四加行里面的这个法本呢，我们之前闭关金刚萨埵的时候都是用这个的，这个呢又简单又清楚啊。这样子的话，我们一直可以专心的念咒啊，不需要太多那个担心仪轨上面了啊。所以我们这一次用这个法本来闭关。
So for the coming weekend group practice of Vajrasattva, the text we're gonna use is from the Excellent Path to Enlightenment, a practice of the preliminaries of the Fivefold Mahamudra, and it's in the section 2. The method to purify negativities and obscurations is the practice of Vajrasattva. Start from page 29 all the way down to page 35. This is the same text that we used for previous years. This text is very simple and clear, so we can emphasize more reciting the mantras.
我们金刚萨埵闭关这个有些原因。第一呢，我们接下来要闭关的是普巴金刚的。那普巴金刚呢，金刚萨埵的那个混入尊，这个修金刚萨埵也是可以说是这个普巴金刚的前行吧。第二呢，修金刚萨埵是很重要，它是主要这个清净业障的嘛。清净业障也有很多种的那个法，但是这个是最简单，然后最这个价值里最强的一个修行。所以呢，其实也经常也修金刚萨埵也是很重要的。
There are 2 reasons why we do the Vajrasattva practice. The first reason is because right after Vajrasattva group practice, we're gonna have Vajrakilaya Drupchen. Vajrakilaya is the wrathful form of Vajrasattva. So the Vajrasattva practice can be considered as the preliminary practice of Vajrakilaya practice. The second reason is to purify our negative karmic obscurations. It is very important for us to purify our obscurations, to purify our negative deeds. And Vajrasattva practice is a very simple way and with the most powerful way to clarify all of our negativities.
怎么说金刚萨埵是很这个价值力很大的呢？因为呢，这个密宗有很多种的那个本尊，很多部分的本尊了啊。那么多的本尊呢，就分成那个总合起来就5个部分的话，那就是那个总合起来的话变成5个部分的。那5个部分代表是5方佛的，那5方佛也是总合起来的话，那什么呢？就是金刚萨埵了。这样说起来，我金刚萨埵呢，一切本尊的总体了啊，总合起来的一个 对密宗的那个金刚乘的密宗来讲的话，就是金刚萨埵是最主要的那个本尊了所以呢，修金刚萨埵消除业障也是很大原因这样子的。
Vajrasattva, the Vajrasattva practice contains great blessing powers. It has great powers. The reason why is for Vajrayana practice, there are various deities, countless deities, and all the deities we can classify into 5 different sections, and which is the 5 Dhyani Buddha, 5 Buddha families. And Vajrasattva is the embodiment of the entire 5 Buddha families, which means Vajrasattva is the embodiment of all the deities. That's why the blessing power is great.
那金刚萨埵的长照金刚百字名呢，为什么也有100个字呢？它也是代表100尊的那个文物本尊嘛，100尊本尊的有这样子的。当然那个金刚萨埵的金刚百字名呢也有内容它也是可以解释它讲什么也讲什么，内容什么也有，但是那个100字的那个意思呢，就100尊的本尊的意思。
So we all know the Vajrasattva mantra is the 100-syllable mantras. The 100-syllable mantra, the 100 syllable represents 100 different peaceful and wrathful deities. Of course, for the mantra, the content of the mantra, we can literally translate for the detailed meanings, but in general, it represents the 100 deities.
所以呢，我们金刚乘呢，前行的时候就要修这个金刚萨埵了因为呢，金刚乘内容很深，然后呢就要了解那么深的内容，稍微要业障轻一点才可以的。业障很重的人呢，没有办法了解到金刚乘的那个内容所以呢，我们前行四假行的时候就要修10万次的那个金刚百字名也是消除业障。那时候也是修金刚萨埵来消除业障这样子。
Well, Vajrasattva practice is part of the 4 preliminary practices, the non-drop. That's because for the Vajrayana practice is very vast and deep. If someone with heavy karmic activities, heavy karmic obscurations, it will be very difficult for someone to understand and really go into the Vajrayana path. That's why the Vajrasattva practice is included in the non-drop, in the preliminary, because it is so. Because with the practice of Vajrayana, there are karmic obscuration and activities gets to be purified, and it will be easier for us to be on the Vajrayana path. And that's why it requires 100,000 practices of Vajrayana in the non-drop.
不是要进入金刚乘，也是其实经常也修一些金刚萨埵是很重要的。因为任何的人呢都有困难呀、痛苦呀、不顺很多在那个轮回的众生呢，有很多那个这困难这些都呢，我们觉得因为是这个，因为是那个，就只有看到 在那边的结果而已了。我们也了解不到它真正的原因了啊，背后有它的原因，这个我们也没办法看到的。任何不顺的，任何不快乐都有原因的啊，这些也先要所谓要消除它的原因的，然后才不会有这个它带来的那个结果痛苦啊。这样来讲的话呢，每个人呢也是其实都修一些金刚萨埵啊，因为每个人呢都追求是快乐的嘛，没有人要痛苦的。这样的话呢，其实也经常也念一些金刚萨埵是非常重要的。
Vajrasattva practice is not just necessary for Vajrayana practitioners. Actually, it is beneficial for anyone who practices it, not just Vajrayana practitioners, because we all carry our karma, and we are all wandering in the samsara because of our karma accumulations. That's the result of it. Whatever sufferings we encounter, the unhappiness that we face, we only know the result. The result is that we are suffering, we're unhappy, or something that is not going our way. But we really do not know what's the cause of it. What kind of deeds that we did in the past caused it mature as a result of our current suffering. So we only know the result without the deed. And Vajrasattva practice is it's a way to purify our karmic before it's fully mature. So with the practice, so either we can completely eliminate the condition, or we can lessen the suffering when the deed gets matured.
将来希望将来去这个净土这样子的人也好，不然的话就没有这样子的那个梦想。但是那个在这辈子希望要过得好一点，这样也我刚讲了啊，就念这些稍微消除自己的那个以前累积的那些业障，才会会减少一些那个痛苦的。那我们呢，业障呢看不到的，但是所有的人，所有轮回的众生都会有很多业障的，因为这个轮回是我们轮回转了轮回呢，就太长时间了啊，都有有些人觉得啊，我这辈子也没有什么造业啊，就没有什么做了坏事，应该也没有太大的那些业障。但是呢，也不知道啊，前世很多很长时间轮回的时候呢，都会有很多的那个业障了啊。这个佛经里面也有讲啊，业障看不到而已了。要是他看到的话，那就太大了啊，这样子的。
So it's not just for the sake of that to be reborn in the Pure Land, but it's not just for the benefit of being able to be reborn in the Pure Land. It's also for the benefit of our current life. We all carry our karma, and we don't see the karma. Karma is not something that we can see. It's not actually a solid thing that we can see, but actually we all carry our own karmic debts. with us. Some people may think that, oh, I have been a good person in this life. I haven't done or commit any wrongdoings. I should be fine. But actually, um, we all carry our karmic debts from the beginningless time, from long, long time ago, that from our many, many previous lifetimes, which we could not see. Because the karmic is something not visible. So we don't know, so we don't actually know how much bad karma we have accumulated. If karma is something that's visible, it's something solid, it would be too big and too heavy for us to carry on our shoulder. That's how much we have accumulated since beginningless lifetime.
那怎么办呢？消除业障的那个方法也挺多的，但是那个最殊胜的，又简单又这个消除的很快的方法呢，就进修金刚萨埵啊。那这个前行四加行里面的那个修金刚萨埵的方法呢，就靠四个力量来修嘛。我们英文有什么了？靠四个力量。第一呢，我们这个靠的对象是金刚萨埵，然后呢，定义到，然后呢，我们要忏悔，自己心里要忏悔，我们积德的那个造业啊，都要忏悔了啊，想起来忏悔，这个是第二。然后第三呢，就按照那个法本里面的方法来，一边观想啊，一边就是那个流观漏啊，观想这个法本里面的那个方法来做。那第四个呢，就要觉性了啊，觉性，以后觉得不造业啊，这样子的一个决定性了啊，就好像是你之前不知道吃下了一个毒药啊，吃完了才知道的，有这样子的那个方法啊，已经造业了啊。那本来也其实也有些人呢就不知道也有造业了啊，但是这个没有消除的话呢，将来会带到那个下三道啊。那赶快要吃完毒药，赶快要就想个办法呀，想这样来要赶快要消除，用金刚萨埵的修行了啊，这样四个靠四个力量来修的话，怎么样的业障都可以消除的。
So since we carry a boundless karmic debt with us, how can we purify it? There are many different methods to purify our negative deeds, but the simplest and most effective way is the Vajrasattva practice. And when we do the Vajrasattva practice, we have to do it. We need to accompany our practice with the four powers. What are the four powers? The first one is the power of support. And the support is Vajrasattva. We visualize the Vajrasattva as our support with his blessing power, his protective power. And the second power is the power of regret, the power of repentance. So we have to have remorse. We have to have remorse, repentance, and with intensive remorse, reveal all the negative deeds we have done in the past. So that's the power of regret. The third is power of resolve. The power of resolve, which is the method that we use, which is the Vajrasattva practice that we are doing. So according to the text, we start through visualization, mantra recitation, meditation, just following the method, following the practice, the method to purify our negative deeds. And the fourth power is power of action as an antidote, which means that we realize that all the negative deeds, all the non-virtual actions we have done in the past, and we make a determinations that we would not make the same mistake again. For example, when we take a poison, when we are poisoned, we took something poisonous, and immediately that we didn't know, then the poison would take effect and we would suffer. But the poison is just like the non-virtues and misdeeds that we committed. So once we know that we are swallowing the poisons, then the next step is looking for an antidote. What is the antidote? The antidote is the Vajrasattva practice accompanied with the four power.
那我们讲这个消除业障、修金刚萨埵是多么的那个厉害呀！修金刚萨埵呢，所有的那个业障会清净的。听到这些的时候呢，有些觉得啊，那还好啊，那就下次也不小心做了什么坏事的话，还是就修金刚萨埵啊。那这样想就缺少了最后的那个力量了，觉性的力量了。以后再也不造业的那个觉性的啊，不觉住那个，那不觉住就不会消除业障哦。要这四个力量都具足的时候，才会消除业障的很快了啊。
So since Vajrasattva practice is the simplest and the most effective way to purify our negative deeds, and some people would think, oh, okay, so whatever misdeeds that I done in the past, whatever non-virtue actions I commit in the past, all the negative karma can be purified through Vajrasattva practice. That's great. So I would just, every time I made a mistake, so I would just practice it. I don't need to make correction of my actions. This is a wrong thought. Actually, the Vajrasattva practice need to be accompanied with the four powers. And with the last power, with the power of determinations that I would not commit the same mistake again, that would determine, that's the factor that would determine whether our karma have been purified or not. Without this kind of conviction, determination that I would never do the same thing again, then it would not be effective.
那修金刚萨埵的时候呢，还有一个，在动机是很有清净的动机，就利他心，这个也是非常重要。因为有你心里有很强烈的那个利他心的话，消除业障的非常的快的，就我们经常讲的那个菩提心，自心、悲心、菩提心，这些非常重要的嘛。那修金刚萨埵的时候，也先有这样子的心态来修金刚萨埵。那时候也是就是那个修金刚萨埵，也是为了众生，不只是我一个人。真正心里就这样子的动机来修金刚萨埵的话呢，消除业障更快的。
Another determined factor about the effectiveness of Vajrasattva, of the effectiveness of Vajrasattva practice is a pure motivation. So before the practice, we need to generate altruistic mind. We need to generate loving kindness, aspiration, bodhicitta, action bodhicitta. And we have to have them in our mind that we are doing the practice for the benefit of all sentient beings. With this kind of altruistic motivation, the power of Vajrasattva practice would be really, really great. It empowers the practice furthermore.
那你也为了其他人修金刚萨埵也可以啊，比如死亡的人呐、这样的时候呢，就你。
Lama got cut off. So I would just do a little bit translation here before he was cut off. He said that when we do the practice of Vajrasattva, we can also do it not just for us, but also for other people. For example, those deceased beings.
Hello, commercial time. Before we wait, we are waiting for Lama's comeback. Just want to make sure that everybody knows the schedule for the Vajrasattva retreat. That will be this Saturday and Sunday, starting from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is 2 hours break from noon to 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. So that's the lunch hour break. Both days are starting from 9 a.m. And right now we will go through the practice through Zoom, and that using the same ID and the password you are using now, but we will sending out the link again to everybody through WeChat, Line, and the email. If you have not downloaded the textbook, please download it from our link or from Renchen Choling website. 接下来的这个金刚萨埵闭关，这个礼拜六、礼拜天会是从9点钟开始到下午5点，中间会有2个小时的 break， 是从中午的12点到下午2点，2天的时间都一样。那我们的还是主要用 Zoom 来上，然后 ID 跟 password 跟大家现在使用的是完全一样的。还有，如果各位还有人没有 download textbook 的话，可以用我们的 link， 我们会用 WeChat 还有 Line 以及这个email 送出这个practice 的 link， 那上面会有 textbook 的 link， 大家也可以上我们人权丘陵的网站去 download 法本。好，谢谢。拉玛回来了吗？
还没有。
Okay, so Lama, we are still waiting for Lama. As like mentioned, Lama mentioned, after Vajrasattva retreat, we will have Vajrakilaya retreat. That will be in the end of October. So starting from next Saturday, coming Saturday will be our Vajrasattva retreat, right? So next Saturday, consecutive 3 weeks, 3 Saturdays, we will have Vajrakilaya teaching, leading by Gabe Lama. The time was starting from 4:45 p.m. to 6 p.m. So starting from October 3rd, continue October 10th, and October 17th. That's Saturdays, starting from 4:45 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's Vajrasattva retreat. 我们接下来像拉玛刚才有提到，就是我们这个金刚萨埵闭关完以后，我们紧接着就会在10月底左右，我们会有普巴金刚的闭关。那从下个礼拜六，这个礼拜六是金刚萨埵的闭关，从下个礼拜六开始，10月3号、10月10号跟10月17号，4点45到6点钟，拉玛会给我们Vajrasattva普巴金刚的这个教授。所以请大家把这几天日子都留下来。好，谢谢。detail 的话，我们一样会 send 出这个information by WeChat, Line 还有 email. We will sending all information through WeChat, Line and email. Thank you.
Rồi,
哎，那么
听到了。
听到了。刚刚讲到就是也可以替其他的人修，尤其是往生的人，就是我们在修行，我们在做金刚萨埵闭关的时候。
对对，那样子的话，那要观想金刚萨埵是他的那个头顶上面呢，然后呢，就其他的那个观想的方法，留观路啊，这些是就不一样的啊，就留到他的那个头上观路，这样来修。那我们有的时候呢，就自己修金刚萨埵的时候，同时也可以想啊，我就是那个观六流到一切众生的那个头顶上面了，帮一切众生的消除业障啊，这样也可以的。
So, when we do the Vajrasattva practice, we can not just of course we need to visualize Vajrasattva is on top of our crown, and with nectar floating out of Vajrasattva and it get into our body, purify all of our obscuration activities and flowing out. But we can also visualize Vajrasattva. So if we have a specific person in mind, whether the person is deceased, then we can also visualize Vajrasattva is on top of his head, also on top of his crown. And with the same visualization, the nectar overflows out of Vajrasattva and pour into his body and purify all his activities. We can also visualize when the Vajrasattva, the nectar, flows out of the Vajrasattva's body and flow into all the sentient beings and purify and fill up all the body of all the sentient beings and purify all sentient beings' activity. We can also do that visualization.
那这个业障呢，就从在那么长的时间都是它不会消失，它还是会跟着我们，那样子的一个怎么说厉害的，但是它有一个好处，什么好处呢？我们真正忏悔的话，它是会笑的。真正心里忏悔啊，就是那个修金刚萨埵啊，或者是修其他啊，真正心里忏悔的时候呢，它是会可以笑掉的，这是它，其他它没有任何的好处了啊。没笑的话，就几百年也就不会自然消失的。
So when we visualize the nectar outflow from Vajrasattva and go into our body, then in our mind we have to have the real repentance, a real repentance and remorse of all the non-virtue we have committed. Without the power of repentance, this practice will not have any effect on purifying our inactive karma. I think Lama got cut off again.
Hello？
Lama 好 ，Yeah， 翻好了。
好，那我们看这个法本啊，法本第30页啊，这那个法本里面是很清楚的啊。先修金刚萨埵之前呢，刚刚讲的就要发心，发菩提心。发菩提心的那个文是我们要念的嘛啊，皈依发心，听到吗？
有听到，不过 Teddy 是下一页。
好，然后呢，在这个上面很清楚了啊，自己的那个头顶上面要观想一个白色的红字，这个里面有很清楚了。那个白色的红字呢，就是那个在有白色的光，照很光，白色的光的一个白色的红字。那这个白色的红字呢，放光的时候呢，放光2次。第一次放光的时候呢，这个光呢变成供养的东西啊，供养四方一切诸佛菩萨的东西了啊。其实这个光的代表还是慈悲心了啊，自心悲心的那个光，它是代替那个光是代替慈悲心的。因为我们为什么他去可以供那个供养的东西呢？谁有菩提心呢？利他心就那个佛菩萨是就随喜，佛菩萨就是那个就欢喜这样子的。所以这个白色的光供养的意思就是这样。
So of course we begin our practice with motivations with our usual prayers, motivation prayers, and after motivation prayers we go to the practice. English is page 30, Chinese is page 31, and according to the instructions on the text, it says, on the crown of my head, upon a sea of lotus and moon, appears a white home. The brilliant light emanating from it pleases the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 10 directions. So the light will emanate from the home twice. The first time is what I have just read from the text, that the light radiates out to the Buddha fields. When the light radiates out, it manifests as vast offerings with all the dakinis with all dakini like a cloud, as many of dakinis like cloud, with offerings on their hands and making offerings to the Buddha field, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the various Buddha field. This light represents the immeasurable love and immeasurable compassions, because it is with our mind of benefiting others, with our immeasurable minds, that's what would please the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions.
然后呢，那个光收回来了，收回来的时候，收到这个红字，白色的红字上面的时候，那就受到一切诸佛菩萨的那个智慧啊、慈悲啊，诸佛菩萨的价值的意思就是慈悲智慧，通通受到这个白色的红字，然后呢再放光，第二次放光的时候，那个光呢照到6道众生了啊，那个光呢 就照到六道众生的时候呢，就消除六道众生的业障，心里有这样想，发这样子的那个发心。
So, as the text continues, the light gathers back. So the light radiates out as offerings made to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. And when the light gathers back to the home, it's gathering back all the wisdom blessings from all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions back into the home. So, as the text says, gathers their knowledge, love, and power and dissolves back into the home. Their knowledge, their love, and their power are their blessings to us and to all the sentient beings. So, and then it says, once again, light emanates to the abodes of the 6 classes of beings. So that's the second time the light radiates out from the home syllable. So the second time is to the 6 classes of sentient beings. And the light purifies their impure karmic perceptions, self-grasping, and habitual tendencies.
这个光照六道众生，然后消除业障的时候呢，大概就是那个本来就是一个黑暗的地方嘛，然后就是那个有光线的时候，马上这个黑暗不见了嘛，就这样子的方式来消除他们的那个业障。那时候的内心要发怎么样的那个感受呢？就我们心里就稍微要体会这个六道众生的痛苦，尤其是那个下三道的那个痛苦困难呀想这些的时候呢，马上会有一点点就是那个对那些众生呢责备心的那个感受嘛这样就是那个消除六道众生的这个光。
So the second time that light radiates out to the 6th class of sentient beings, what we should generate in our mind is a great compassion toward them. We should think about all the sufferings they are currently encounter, and the light can purify all the sufferings, and they can get relief. They will be relieved from their sufferings. As we do the practice and visualizations, so when the first time the light radiates out, that we should have immeasurable love and compassion. And the second time is immeasurable love and compassion towards the sentient beings. The light radiates out to the 6 classes of sentient beings. It's just like in a dark place. It was so dark they could not see anything, and the light radiates out, and all of a sudden everything becomes brightened. Everything is visible. So the power of the light is just like that.
然后那个光收回来，就回到那个凤字上面，那马上那个凤字是变成那个金刚萨埵金刚萨埵图片也在这里，这法本里面也讲得很清楚了，自己的头顶上面要观想这样子的金刚萨埵。
So according to the text, it says the home, so that the light gathers back into the light gathers back into the home, and the home then transforms into the guru, who embodies all Buddha families in the form of Vajrasattva, clear and white, endowed with the ornaments of a Sambhogakaya. So that's we should visualize accordingly.
更重要的是呢，要了解金刚萨埵的一切诸佛菩萨的那个总合起来的一个本尊。
And so when when the home transformed into the Vajrasattva. The Vajrasattva, so the Vajrasattva is the embodiment of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That's how we should have that in mind, and that's how we should have in mind, and that's how we should visualize the Vajrasattva.
然后呢，第31页那上面的那个4句法啊，那就刚刚讲了第2个力量啊，忏悔的力量嘛，这个是忏悔。那忏悔的时候，从内心上面要发真正的那个这样子的那个忏悔的。
So now we go to the next page, page 31. At the lower part of page 31, there are 4 phrases. It says, "Oh, glorious Vajrasattva, please purify and cleanse the ignorance, self-grasping, and habitual tendencies of myself and all the infinite sentient beings." So these 4 phrases is referring to what we had just said, one of the 4 powers, the power of repentance. So we should feel intense remorse of all non-negative, all non-virtuous actions one has committed, and also on behalf of all sentient beings.
这样心里很强烈的祈祷，这样忏悔的时候呢，然后呢就在第32页上面的那样变成那样子，要像心里那样啊。我们祈祷金刚萨埵，然后金刚萨埵的心经白色的那个红字，若为这个照人呢，从那里流出观六然后那个流出观六的时候呢，有些这个的有些人的前心里面呢，就他的那个右脚的那个脚趾头从那里流到，然后就自己的那个灯笼。但是这个里面呢，他的前身下雨一样流，那个观路呢，自己和其他众生所有的那个灯笼上面就是那个进去了，要像这样子的。
Okay, on page 32, the top of page 32, it says, having supplicated. So the supplicated means that we, with the power of the repentance, with our intensive remorse and prayers, that's how we should supplicate it, with the intensity of remorse and aspiration of prayers. And then it says, a stream of bodhicitta nectar emerges from the seed syllable and mantra garland at Vajrasattva's heart. The nectar fills up his entire body, enters the Brahma opening at my crown, and cleanses all negativities and obscurations. In other sadhanas, it says the nectar flows out of Vajrasattva's the left toe and then flow down to our body. But here in this particular text, it didn't say that. It says the nectar just outflows from Vajrasattva, and then it comes down from Vajrasattva's body. It's like a rain falls, like raindrops, and the raindrop, it filled up not just your own body, our own bodies, but also the bodies of all sentient beings. That's how we should visualize. So it's like a big rain pulling down, and all the rain waters are the nectars, and it just it filled up our body, everyone's body, and washes out the negativities and obscurations from everyone.
那观漏流着那个右脚的那个脚趾头的时候呢，那金刚萨埵的做的方法也有一点不一样。 那样子的那个形象呢，好像是差不多那个绿度母这样，右脚再伸出来，在前面一点点那样来做。但是这个它前身流观路的这个呢，就这图片上面那样观想啊，那样。
So since the text that we are using now, it says the nectar is outflow from Vajrasattva's body. So we should visualize the Vajrasattva is sitting cross-legged, like the picture on page 28. So the position of his feet is both feet are crossed. It's different because if you are visualizing on other sadhana, it says the nectar is flowing out of the right toe of the Vajrasattva. Then the visualization, the posture of the feet of Vajrasattva is similar to the green Tara. But according to the text that we are practicing this coming weekend, we should visualize Vajrasattva sitting with both legs crossed, like the photo on page 28.
那它的那个坐轮呢，金刚百字明，这个是第33页的那个是金刚百字明啊，要观想这个很长嘛，然后呢就种子字红字绕这个坐轮呢就太长的时候可以绕好几层这样子的啊，全部是。那它绕的方法呢，就我看到有些在那个网络上面的那个图片啊，好几个图片是不对的。这个绕的方法呢，就像现在我们看字这样子的，一直就是那个海，然后就这个卷起来一样的，从那个开始那边要开始这样，开始那边是往里面开始嘛，然后再多的是就在外面这样绕，拍的时候这样，然后转的时候呢就这样转。
所以那个 home 是在最里面嘛？
home 是最里面了。
对 ，home 就在最里面嘛。Okay. So now page 33. So at the end of page 32 is a recite the 100-syllable mantra. And page 33 is the 100-syllable mantra that we're gonna recite. So we visualize the home syllable is at the center, and the 100 syllables circling around the home syllable. And since the mantra is very, very long, so you can imagine that you are writing all the mantra as one sentence on a very long piece of paper. So the paper will be very, very long because it's just one line of 100 syllables. And then you just rolled up the paper. So when you rolled out the paper, if you look from the top down, it's not just one circle. It's circling around. It's like a swirl. It's like a swirl. And so the Om Vajrasattva Samaya, Om would be the first syllable, which is the very, very center, the closest syllable with the home, with the C syllable. So home, the first home Vajrasattva Samaya home would be very close to the center home. And then it swirls outwards. And so the sattva would be at the end. And then, so that's how the mantra would circle, like swirlize. Because if you visualize 100 syllables in one circle, the circle will be very, very big and very difficult to visualize. So you visualize that's how it swirls. And when the mantra garlands start to turn, it turns clockwise. So it turns from right to left.
那这个一个字要观想很清楚的话，没有办法嘛，当然有可能的，但是那个很困难了。那这样子的话呢，就大概想， 它是这样绕的，它是就是白色的那个照轮是这样，就是大概观想一个白色的那个光的圈啊，
So it could be very difficult to visualize each syllable very clearly, even though it is not impossible, but it could be difficult. So if it's difficult for you to visualize each syllable very clearly, you can just visualize in general that the mantra garland is swirling and turning around the whole syllable. And it's like light radiance, and it's the garland generates light, so it becomes a circle of light.
转照了，然后呢，在那边就像冰块融化一样，从那里流观流啊，然后慢慢全身都满，然后在那个全身都流这个下一样，自己的等流也是其他众生的那个等流上来，那这样一直念咒，一边念咒一边要想这样子的。
So when we recite a mantra, so the mantra, as we like previous described, the mantra circling around the whole syllables, and it becomes like a light radiance, like a circle of light, and then the nectar just start to floating down from the mantra garland. It's you can just visualize like an ice block. Ice block meeting the light and got melted into water, and the water is just like the nectar floating out and into all, and then floating out and merge into every human being's body.
那一直念咒的时候，一直观想这样，有的时候呢，就怎么讲，就心里有点烦恼。这些的话呢，那有的时候呢，在注意，注意力放在金刚萨埵的那个，那个身体的那个各个部分慢慢想，有的时候就是想脸的部分啊，有的时候身体啊，有的时候呢，他的那个装饰，他的那个手里的那个法器啊，这样慢慢观想，这样也可以的。
So since we're gonna recite a mantra for a very long period of time, so if you continuously visualizing the mantra garland and the nectar, and then you start to get agitated, become impatient or restless, then you can switch from visualizing the mantra into visualizing the Vajrasattva. You can visualize how Vajrasattva is, and in general, and or you can focus your attention on parts of his body, like the Vajra, the bell that he's holding in both hands, or Vajra, or visualize part of the body, what the ornament, what kind of ornaments he has on his that's show on the tanka, because every ornament has a specific meaning too. So you can rotate your visualizations, like visualizing Vajrasattva or visualizing a mantra garland. Just rotate them so you won't get bored of it.
那最后呢，要想自己的所有的那个业障已经清掉了，然后呢，身体也是变成很干净，像玻璃的那个瓶子一样了，自己的身体也是变成很清净的，然后呢，在很透明的这种的那个身体了然后呢，就是那个全身都是满光漏，然后就消除业障的时候排出去的那些那个脏水呢，就颜色也是很黑啊，就是那个很脏啊。有些的时候呢，也有很多这个 在众生宠物这种样子来排出去，这样想也可以的，反正就是那个排出去的那些呢，都是那个脏的东西，心里要这样想。
So when we visualize the nectar flows into our body, filled up our body, and then filled up our body, and then floats out from every single pore of our body. And the water that's floating out of us is very dark, very dusty, very muddy, because it's all of our obscurations. So you visualize those very dirty water floats out of our body. You can also visualize it's not just the dirty water, but also those terrible little insects or worms floating out of our body. All those visualizations represent our representation of our negativity, our bad deeds, our bad karma being purified out. So as the purification goes on, and then our body, the nectar fills up our body as all our obscuration be purified, and then our body becomes white like Vajrasattva, but it's like a crystal. It's like a crystal, see-through crystal. It's not a physical body.
然后呢，最后呢，开要解授的时候呢，第34页的那个祈祷文我们要祈祷，祈祷这样的，那祈祷这样子的那个力量，来就金刚萨埵第35页的上面的那个，金刚萨埵呢就告诉我们，你们的业障也是全部已经消除了金刚萨埵呢就很高兴的告诉我们这样，然后呢，金刚萨埵也是融入到我们的身上，融入到我们的身上的时候呢，就我们的心跟金刚萨埵那个心是变成无我的，在那样子的那个状态，然后呢，我们在里边有静坐一点的，这个叫也不需要特别那个术式什么的直接这样子的那个状态要静坐或者是那个维持这样子的状态这样。
So as mentioned before, that during the mantra recitation, that we recite a mantra and thinking of our body as a crystal vase filled with the nectars or like a rainbow. And then we go to page 34 and we make prayers to Vajrasattva. Like the page 34, the text says, lost in mental darkness, I have broken and corrupt my samayas. Guru, protector, grant me refuge. Chief Vajra holder, embodiment of great compassion, Lord of all beings, I go for refuge to you. So this is the prayer we made. So, and after the prayer, there is so this is the supplication and prayer we made to Vajrasattva. And on page 35 is the response we receive from Vajrasattva. So to this supplication, Vajrasattva responds, fortunate child, all your negativities, obscurations, faults, and downfalls are now purified. Having absolved me in this way, Vajrasattva dissolved into me, merging indivisibly. So at this So this is kind of like a completion stage, dissolution stage, but it's not, but it's a little bit different from the dissolution that we usually do. So after we recite merging indivisibly, we meditate for a while, like the small words said in the text, that even the mentally fabricated deity itself gather into the innate state of luminosity. Rest briefly and behold Vajrasattva's true face of ultimate reality, empty awareness, in which all ordinary concept of something to be, or of something to be purified, and someone who purifies lack inherent existence. So we meditate in a state like this.
这样就，然后呢，在这里要做简单的这个回向，在一天做一次的话呢，就做多一点的那个回向也可以了。一天做好几个session的话呢，做多一点的回向是最后那个session后面做的嘛。那每个session也有做简单的一个回向了。
So after the meditations, when we are out of the meditative state, then we do the dedication. If we only do one session a day of the Vajrasattva practice, then we should do the long and complete dedication prayers. But if you are doing several Vajrasattva sessions in a day, then before the last sessions, in between each session, you can do a brief dedication prayer.
好，大概是这样子。这个法本是很清楚的，应该也没有什么看不懂的啊。那有没有什么不清楚的地方，可以再解释的？
Okay, so is there any questions?
I have one question. Lamala, what's the difference of doing the 100-syllable mantra with the different deities? I've seen it with Tara, with Chakrasambhara, and with Chenrezig also.
Sorry, I don't quite understand your question. Can you repeat?
The 100-syllable mantra, I've seen it. Not only for Vajrasattva. I seen just they change the name Vajrasattva for Aryatara, for Chakrasambhara. Is it the same use? I mean, is it used for purifying karma when you use it for Tara, for Chakrasambhara?
Okay. 拉玛他的意思是说，比如说我们做其他法本修持的时候，也会念到那个金刚萨埵嘛，只是我们把一开始的 Om Vajrasattva Samaya 改成我们正在修持的本尊。比如说修白度母的时候，第一句就是白度母，然后如果是修普巴金刚的话，第一句就是普巴金刚的名号。那个时候念诵这个百字名，是不是也是忏悔的意思？
那时候也忏悔的意思了啊。
也是忏悔跟消除业障。
对，那个也是每次都是做后面做嘛。后面做的时候呢，那个也是就忏悔那一次的那个修行上面有不圆满的地方，补回来的意思了。
Okay, so yes, Lama say it's the same meaning. So when we do Vajrakilaya practice or Chenrezig practice, actually many different deities practice, and according to individual sadhana at the end, there is 100-syllable recitation, except the first verse would be the name of that particular deity we are practicing in. The meaning is the same. It is to confess, to purify and repair all the mistakes we did during the practice session.
这里有个问题啊，这个没有灌顶可以说吗？这个可以的，金刚萨埵其实全新的部分嘛，那个是不需要灌顶的啊。
Yes, you can do the Vajrasattva, you can do this Vajrasattva practice without empowerment, because the Vajrasattva practice that we do is part of the nam drop, and you do not need empowerment to do the nam drop. So for this particular Vajrasattva practice, you can participate even if you have not received the empowerment for Vajrasattva.
这里有一个，We are going to recite increasing mantra 什么意思？我听不懂。
那个福德增长咒啊，就是有一个咒语，不是我们念了可以增加很多增加 merit 的那个咒语。
这个我们这次闭关的时候呢，就只有念这个金刚萨的部分的时候，这个没有念了。做四加行啊这些的时候呢，也要念那个了啊。
So the question is, are we going to recite the increasing mantras? No, we are not going to. We will only recite a 100-syllable mantra. But if you are doing, Vajrasattva as a non-draw practice, we do recite the increasing mantras. But since we are just doing this particular Vajrasattva practice, then we will not recite the increasing mantra in the coming weekend.
有人要求龙，这个龙呢，我们在那个开始那天先会我念的。
Okay. The question is, please, Rinpoche, give long Vajrasattva mantra. Thanks. Lama said he will give the long, the oral transmission, on the day of the Vajrasattva Teaching.
还有什么吗？
Is there any more questions?
没有question的话，那我们做个回向啊。
So, okay, since there is no question, we're gonna do dedications.
那这个weekend 呢，我们早上9点到晚上5点啊，直接修这样金刚萨埵2天的啊。那再透过这个 Zoom 来修啊，欢迎大家也参加。
So we would do so this weekend we would do the Vajrasattva retreat through Zoom. So it will be Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 5. So everybody is welcome to participate.
这里有一个。
OK， 拉玛他说那个越南团体有一个问题。
So Gabe Lamala?
Yes.
Yes, so there is one Vietnamese in the Vietnamese Sangha.
I think Lama has been cut off.
Oh, sorry.
Can you wait for a while? Wait until Lama comes back.
Okay, can I quickly tell you and you can translate to Lama?
Sure.
Yeah, so the question is, Lamala, please explain again about the dissolution. I'm not really understand that yet. So that question from that request from the Vietnamese Sangha.
Okay.
Thank you.
我没听到，刚刚断了。
好，对，那个是那个他们问就说最后消融的时候，他不是听得很清楚，想要请拉玛再说一次。
那时候呢， 有些法本里面，就慢慢消失的，但是这里没有了。金刚萨埵融入到我的身上，然后呢，就我们心里要知道哦，心里要这样想啊，金刚萨埵跟我的心是就是那个无二无别的，没有什么在念头啊，就是那个自然的状态，在那边有禅修的啊。
所以就是金刚萨埵，我们头顶的金刚萨埵就化成光，然后融入到我们的身上。Oh. Okay, so Lama said the dissolution stage on this text, it did not specify very clearly, but the visualization we drew is at the end, the Vajrasattva above our crown dissolve into our body. It merges with us, and we become the same as Vajrasattva.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Internet no good. OK， 那我们做回向了哦。我这里念，你们就是那个心里想就可以了哦。
Okay, so Lama will recite the dedication prayer, and we just our mind we just have our mind with him and generate the dedication.
我说南的呀，他们就是把你到那你别着那把这的这个那这把龙珠把也是变做人着有着公给我今年有把。是当时觉得也是把他上坡今天的这啥的拉过来公家上坡是叫的，让爸爸为这单亲把当工作上坡这样的原。大根结基说大老天给王的大当结杀的我大当混的谈结的就是的沙巴当预备给我早晚的大当圣经当天就得了那么杨大把做被上就人不接头把就接定白把就那么就别就说真用了就定白就当我当就把定把有人那个找学校三九三九人不觉马几把难解决几把两把没把阳光的光灯陪我Okay.
Okay, thank you, Lama. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you, Lama. Thank you very much.
谢谢Lama
Thank you, Lamala.
谢谢Lama
，Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
多谢Lama
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lama.
Thank you, Phoenix.
Thank you Lama
Thank you, Phoenix.
Night.
Thank you Lama Thank you Lama
Thank you, Lama.
Đương nơi công đức này nguyện con thành tựu tận tri tận giác do chiến thắng được kẻ thù